Signs of intelligent life, there's a new study that may suggest we are not alone. A group of researchers have identified at least 7 stars that might be surrounded by advanced megastructures known as Dyson spheres. Dyson spheres, what? Emily Finn joins us now to tell us more about this. Emily, Dyson spheres, possible megastructures, all of this is a lot to take in.
It certainly is. It might freak you out, it might pique your interest. I mean, it's certainly interesting. The thought is that potential superior intelligent life might be creating buildings or devices to harness energy around their home stars or planets, creating these so-called alien megastructures. This newly released study published by a group of researchers in the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society specifically looks at the theory around Dyson spheres and finds at least 7 stars might be surrounded by these alleged alien structures already. The aliens, I guess, have been busy. The group looked at infrared heat near stars located within 1,000 light years from that can't otherwise be explained. It all stems from a theory from 1960s physicist Freeman Dyson, who believed if these structures in fact existed, scientists on Earth might be able to pick up on those infrared waves. News Nation spoke with Jana Levin, a professor of astronomy and physics at Barnard College and at Columbia University, who casts doubt on the possible alien origins of what these researchers are observing.
We are in a new era in terms of our understanding of how prevalent planets are and how planets are absolutely prolific in the universe. And that really suggests that life is prolific. The question is whether or not life can easily reach the phase of industrialization and building things and exploring space.
So this studies team had some pretty advanced tech. They used 2 active telescopes that are in space right now to conduct the research, but there is no conclusive evidence quite yet to determine what exactly is happening around these stars. Nick, do you think?
Dyson spheres is a hypothetical megastructure proposed by physicist Freeman Dyson. The Messenger teaches us in 1972 in the Theology of Time that a theory may or may not be true. And Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1 teaches us that planets are, quote, wanderers. I explained in 1984 in the elaboration of the Lost Lessons that mathematically there are countless planets in our universe. So the scientists are looking at the 3 hypotheticals of these Dyson spheres. The first one is known as the Dyson swarm, basically like solar panels that an alien civilization could set up in outer space to capture starlight or sunlight. And this energy could be used for whatever life forms that they have. Then you have the Dyson shell. That's like some type of...
Peace and blessings. I wanted to give y'all just a little backdrop and lay the foundation so that you could get the gist of the day's subject matter, if you will. Now, I mean, basically on the news, if you listen carefully to the language that they're using, they're saying things like could be or may be, is it possible, what have you. These types of things are presented because at the end of the day, we live in a capitalist imperialist system. We live in a system where news publications make money by advertising. They have to sell their commercials, but we should not confuse our belief with our knowledge. I mean, we can't take and say just because we believe something is true. We have to go through the stages of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I mean, often we confuse the metaphysical with the physical. I mean, the metaphysical is beyond the physical. Like Terrence Howard, he was saying like 1 × 1 = 2. I mean, and mathematicians, what are you talking about? Because they're looking at it from a physical mathematical sense. Now, I mean, like if I order the Messenger's CD, it's 1 case multiplied by 1 CD. It's going to always equals 1. But metaphysically, it equals anything that you want it to. There's no limitation to the mind. Now, I mean, impossibles don't exist in our mathematical universe. Now, I mean, so looking at the concept, why would an alien civilization use solar panels around 7 stars? Like, I got solar panels in my front yard, my backyard, you know what I mean? You know, they can store solar power. You know what I mean? We use windmills. You know, these are ancient technologies, but an alien civilization that's supposed to be more advanced would have stuff that we would have never even thought about. Now, I mean, it's just like us. If we look back 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago, their technology is different from what we know in 2024. Now, I mean, that's just human nature. You know, we improve on things once we have a make or model for something. Now, I mean, we don't start fires with, you know, going outside and using magnifying glasses. We now have stoves, we got microwave ovens and things of that nature there. We use advanced mathematics and advanced civilizations. That's just natural in the universal order of things. I mean, so one of the things that we want to look at is these concepts are not new. Our ancestors in ancient Kemet, like in Egypt, you know, they understood the power of the sun. They knew how to dehydrate meats and fruits. I mean, they knew how to use the power of the sun to transform a grape into a raisin. You know, they can dry out wheat or grain and have it last for years. I mean, you know, so using the sun in a natural sense is the best form, in my opinion, of storing energy. You know, we understand, you know, like we can start a fire, you know, you need your oxygen, you need your friction, you need your fuel, you know, but you could take and rub sticks together basically and spark a fire. Now, I mean, you can harness that energy and use that energy for your services. And this is just a natural mathematical going from the fraction to the whole with human civilization. Now, I mean, you know, our people on the face of this planet, real problem is we're simply too greedy, too envious, too much full of violence and hatred and ignorance and spookism and superstitions and things of that nature there. So this is why it's easy to mislead the masses. Now, I mean, you know, we use the source of coal. I mean, like petrified forests, ancient fossil fuels, you know, what we call coal and oil. Now, I mean, these things are natural elements in the earth, but our ancestors was able to use them. But in the future, we should be on another level, in my opinion. Now, I mean, like, why would we have to burn stuff and produce friction and heat and pollution? You know, like if we have smoke, carcinogens, if we produce cancer in the people, if we have things such as nuclear fuel and a nuclear submarine, and it could go around the earth thousands of times. I mean, on a quarter-sized piece of uranium-238, but it produces all this waste and toxic. You know, it causes radiation, it causes poison and cancer in the human body. That's not really a sign of civilization. That's a sign of greed. I mean, capitalism and pluralism. Of course, if you can make $1 on something, you're going to build a better mousetrap. But that don't mean that we're civilized yet. Now, I mean, you know, the United States nuclear submarines, you know, they're there for warfare, you know, because they don't understand the concept of life in a balanced way. Now, I mean, but the sun always sparked lower life forms. So when we say alien lives, I don't look at it in a black and white or cut and dry situation. You know, I definitely don't believe in no Dyson spears out there around these 7 stars that they're talking about. You know, just because we don't know something don't mean that we know something. See, we can't take and transform what we believe into what we know. I mean, we simply just don't know a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, so if I was to take and look at the science of astronomy, and you got telescopes piercing, you know, the universe, and you got telescopes in outer space that got clearer pictures, it's like we're talking about our solar system. We're talking about the Milky Way galaxy. We're talking about a universe that covers 238 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. I mean, so, that diameter would be 76 quintillion miles. Half the diameter is 50% or 38 quintillion miles. The math of it, the logic of it would tell you every single day we should be seeing stuff we don't understand. That don't mean that we should go back to the Jetsons and Star Trek and L. Ron Hubbard books and take our fiction and interpret the fiction as though it's fact. We should use our fiction. That's how humans easily learn. We transform myths and legends, from generation to generation, knowing that there's a kernel of truth in there. We call that tricknology. It's not that it's not real knowledge. It's just that it's a trick attached to the knowledge. It's like a virus in your computer. I mean, so some people, they don't mind tricknology. I have a problem with tricknology. Like, if somebody say, okay, I don't eat pork, and you make me a bean pie, and I eat the bean pie, I'm like, damn, this tastes good. I mean, these teachings is real good. And then I look at the ingredients and find out, wait a minute, you put lard in my bean pie. You put pork in my pie? Nah. That one ingredient messes up the whole pie, you see? So, these spears, that concept, why would an alien civilization that's so advanced need to put the star inside of a capsule or put solar panels around us? It just simply mathematically, theologically, theoretically, hypothetically don't make sense to me. I mean, it's like in this day and time, you hear all these pseudoscientists talking about the people in ancient Sumer or ancient Iraq and Babylon and the Anunnaki and things that they like, these were advanced alien civilizations, but they was writing on stone. It's like, come on, the spooky stuff. It's like aliens came from another planet and built the pyramids, but they was writing on parchment paper. They still they couldn't control the flooding of the Nile River. Like elementary engineering feats that an advanced civilization should have, it contradicts the whole thing. I mean, so I had a couple of people asking me, did I believe in these Dyson spheres? It's like, of course not. Like, come on. I mean, don't show and tell it to me. Show and prove to me that they exist. And that's something totally different. Now, what I do respect is his theory. I do believe he was an intelligent man, probably way more. I know for a fact he knew more about astronomy than me. I mean, that's not my position. I'm not trying to challenge that man in his ideas. I'm trying to challenge that man in his concepts. When people come up with spooky concepts, it's like, just because they may have some circumstantial evidence don't make it empirical evidence. It don't make it an actual fact. It don't take it out of the realm of fantasy because somebody drew a picture of Santa Claus. Somebody made a poem about the Santa Claus, and the father may have scratched the soot in the chimney and told the children, see, that's proof right there. Santa Claus came down the chimney with the gifts. It's like, you can't prove or disprove a negative argument. I'm not here to take and disprove that mystery God. Somebody believe that when they die, they're going to go into the core of the earth where it's magma and hot nickel, that they're going to burn forever in some type of eternal mystery hell. Hey, that's your belief. But don't turn your belief into knowledge. Don't tell me that when I physically die, some type of ghost going to float out my dead body and go up on top of cloud number 9, and I'm going to see this big white Jesus up there, and I'm going to live eternally in some magical kingdom. It's like, this is America. we have to coexist here. We have to respect each other's beliefs and disbeliefs. You know what I mean? But don't impose your spooky stuff on me. If you want to believe in leprechauns and Easter bunnies and tooth fairies and alien civilizations coming to the earth, enslaving humanity, and think, hey, that's cool. I'm just simply saying, where's your proof? Your proof is not you saying that. Showing proof to me. Where's the UFO? Where's the ancient tools at? Where are the alien, like it's just a lot of pseudo spooky stuff. It's like it's the lies are so huge. You can't even unpack them. It's just too many. I mean, so you got to be like, listen, one of the things the messenger told us, he said, if a magician comes before an intelligent audience and he says abracadabra, something that they don't understand, and he pulls a rabbit out of a seemingly empty hat, or he pulls a glass of water out of an empty hat, and you hear the music in the background, da-da! The people in the audience are Muslims, Christians, black, white, young, old, but for some reason, the majority of them will stand up and spontaneously applaud this trick. Now that their common sense tells them, wait a minute, he pulled a glass of water out of an empty hat. You'd be like, wait a minute, we know that water comes from hydrogen bonding with oxygen to produce water. And water can vibrate at different levels, at different temperatures, 212 degrees, it boils and transforms into a vapor of steam, it disappears. Now, I mean, if the atoms slow down their vibrations at 32 degrees, it'll freeze into an ice cube. It could be a solid, it could be a liquid, or it could be a vapor. I mean, we know that water comes from the condensation of our atmosphere that's 6 miles high. We understand, there's nimbus clouds and cumulus clouds and stratus clouds. There's natural phenomena that puts water in lakes and rivers and streams and creeks and artesian wells under the earth, oceans, what have you. We classify this water table as an ecosystem, but we forget all about all the empirical, factual, historical, actual experiences that we have with water. And we would applaud and clap when David Copperfield pulls a glass of water out of a seemingly empty hat. And if someone like me come forward and be like, yo, wait a minute, that was good, but y'all don't really believe he pulled the glass of water out of an empty hat, do y'all? Like, what is you talking about, Alif? You just seen it, didn't you? Like, yeah, but mathematics don't lie. That man did not pull a glass of water out of that empty hat. And they'd be like, well, if he didn't do it, let me see you do it. Hey, listen, I'm not saying I'm a magician. You can't ask a true and living to do what a tricknologist does. I mean, you can't ask a 5% poor righteous teacher to live and show and prove that he or she is a 10% rich slave maker or the poor. I can't tell the 85% mentally dead who's easily leading to the wrong direction. No, dude is really talking some bull crap. I mean, like, y'all really believe that some mystery guy gonna come down out the sky and come down here and solve all y'all problems? Y'all really don't realize that we as human beings, we make and unmake ourselves. We make heaven and hell right here on earth. I mean, it's like, yeah, we could definitely harness energy because we've been doing it since we've been on the planet. That's the purpose of calories. That's the purpose of carbohydrates. That's the purpose of protein. That's the purpose of us eating. That's the purpose of us breathing. That's the purpose of us sleeping. That's the purpose of us going to the bathroom. That's the purpose of us drinking water. Now, I mean, we do that when we're bacteria. We do that as plankton. Now, I mean, it's like, how can you say there's no life in outer space when the whole universe is alive? Yes, plants are alive. I understand we come in with our classism, racism, sexism, and pluralism. Oh, these plants are weeds. Why are they weeds? Because you said they're weeds. These plants are alive. They may be different. Just because they're not a rose, they'd be like, well, the dandelion is a weed. Spray it with some chemicals to kill it. Whoa, why? Then when you study the dandelion, you study the dandelion root, you'd be like, yo, this thing is a powerful plant full of nutrition and medicine and herbs for the human body. But our prejudices, our preconceived notions, our misinformation, misinterpretations, mistranslations, mistransliterations of ancient texts spook us all out of our minds. And we believe in demons and angels floating around on our little shoulders and things of that nature there. But it's like, no, people that study the sciences of life, the geologists be like, yo, we know for a fact rocks are alive. People that study botany, the science of plant life, they be like, we know for a fact these plants are living creatures. People that study the brains of dolphins and elephants be like, just because some racist guy that was just killing animals just to kill them said that, oh, me Tarzan, this Jane, y'all are savages. Human beings, we have intelligence. You animals, y'all use instinct. It's like, just because you can't talk to the ants don't mean that the ants can't talk to each other. When we put the dirt inside the, say a fish tank, for example, and we put the ants in there and we're able to see what ants do and see their colonies, you be like, yo, these ants build better than we build in New York City. How can these animals and insects and plants and things be stupid or use instinct when they show such high intelligence? See, we look at it like, oh, if they don't have a Tesla car, they're not using fossil fuels or they're not using electricity, they be like, yo, they use things in a more organic and natural way. Just because you have a car that pollutes the atmosphere and doesn't decompose inside the earth, don't mean that somebody that has a vehicle like, say, a camel or a horse or an ancient Egyptian chariot or something like that, they be like, yo, those things rot and turn right back into the essence of the earth so that new things could come up, better things could come up. That's more civilized than somebody causing cancer and pollution and killing the fish of the sea and polluting all the rivers and streams on the planet Earth. So just because we may or may not understand things that are in outer space, we shouldn't just automatically conclude, oh, it must be an ancient alien city floating around 7 stars or in the core of 7 stars. It just simply is like, yo, why would your brain make that type of assumption? It's because you are born in spookism. You already believe in things that are not logical. So your brain doesn't understand how ignorant and racist it is to human cultures, human civilizations, the hard work of true mathematicians and scientists and people that study agriculture. They like, yo, my great-great-grandfather told me about these herbs. Now you tell me I need to take this laboratory-made pill to get better? Why? Just because you may have your own version and interpretation of the world civilization don't make it right. So no, I do not believe in any of the 3 Dyson spears. It's like, is it impossible for an alien civilization to build some type of spears? No, but I don't confuse my beliefs with my knowledge. The messenger told us in our series arrived in 1974. He said belief and knowledge are different. We can believe that there's an airplane outside on the doorstep. But once we open up that door and look, then we know whether or not there's an airplane outside on that doorstep. He said in 1972 in the Theology of Time, he said, a theory may or may not be true. A theory is not true until we prove it true. So if Dyson comes with a theory, you'd be like, how many theories are there? Millions of theories. Everybody got ideas and opinions and assumptions. I mean, but it has to go through that scientific method. Now, I mean, it has to be verified. It can't be shown and told and we accept it as gospel truth. It has to be shown and proven before we can do that. Now, I mean, so at this stage of human development, we can take and say, oh, that's an interesting idea. I mean, I really personally, I really have a problem with, like, if we're using solar panels in 2024 and I got them around the house right now and I see how the little cells could, absorb sunlight and charge it up and the lights work beautifully. We got the solar panel windmills in the front lawn and things of that nature there. I don't look at that as some type of high-tech science. It's like really pretty cheap. Like you could go to the dollar store and get them for like $1.25 and they work for like a year, maybe 3 to 5 years. It's an excellent source of energy. But at the same time, my common sense tell me, why would I put solar panels up in space to catch sunlight to use it for energy for my civilization on a planet Earth? It's like, yo, our sun is 93 million miles away from the planet Earth. That's 150 million kilometers. Light travels 186,000 miles per second. It takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds or 500 seconds for sunlight to reach this planet. We don't need to do no fancy stuff like going in outer space to harness. That sun is going to not only come on the surface of the planet, it's going to go through this planet, through the moon, and keep on traveling. Because the object in motion stays in motion, family, to be some type of resistance. So the solar energy that we need to live in a clean and highly advanced civilization is already here. Our problem is we're capitalists, we're imperialists, we're racist, we're classist, we're ignorant. I mean, we're not into STEM, we ain't into math and science. I mean, so when these pseudoscientists come out on YouTube with all this crap, it's easy for us to believe it because they talking about stuff we really don't understand. They speaking 50 Cent words, not the rapper, but 50 Cent big words, as Malcolm X put it, instead of using penny and nickel and dime words. I mean, the common language of the people, they're making it complicated. I mean, so when people that is familiar with the information that they're familiar with, you can see the flaws in their dialectics. We can see the flaws in their arguments and in their assumptions and their presentations. But what's painful is when we see the masses just jump right on it. Like, oh my goodness, did you hear this? And it's like, yo, family, he or she is lying. Plain and simple. Sometimes they may not be lying. Some people are self-deluded. Like they really study so many lies that they believe that the lies are the truth. They believe in the truth of the lie. It's time for us to wake up, family. The struggle continues. Peace.